Hi guys, welcome to this conversation that we're having. Leo ni Leo. We shall talk about various things, and I have a wonderful team. I'm the only gentleman. I'm accompanied by very beautiful ladies with very beautiful smiles. They will show it to you in a short while. And on my, you're farthest from me, so would you introduce?
My name is Shirley Kerubo. I'm an advocate. I'm an in-house counsel. Humu Nairobi.
Fantastic.
My name is Nashipai Chebet. I'm an advocate. I work in a law firm and I practice within the legal profession.
And myself who is speaking, I am Okari, Charles. I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I practice for a year now. I work in town. Hapa. So today we are going to speak about various things. Na tutaendelea tu discuss. And as we were preparing for this session, kitu tu ilikuja kwa akili. I was like, the country has been facing a lot of issues concerning rule of law, the rule of law, and especially from the government, from the man himself, whom we shall not name. What do you think is the state of rule of law in the country? What do you think?
Limefika. I mean, it's quite unfortunate, honestly, and it's something that has been ongoing for a long time. Ijanza jana, and I was even having this discussion with some of my friends in the profession. Hii kitu, everyone is feeling the heat. Whether you are practicing, sometimes watu wanafikiria ukiwa in-house, kwa hivyo mambo shwari, life is good. But what you've seen in the past few days, maneno Ruto ana-intimidate watu, anataka harass, I was having this discussion with some of my colleagues when you were in-house. Like, I didn't know the hardest thing about being a lawyer. I didn't know, like, I never saw it coming. I didn't know the hardest part of being a lawyer would be this thing whereby unakuwa harassed for just doing your job.
Doing the right thing.
Just doing the right thing. Doing what you were trained for. Kuna watu hawaelewi, that's your role. So you give an opinion somewhere, somebody somewhere takes issue with it, the next thing you are being threatened. Umeanza kutishiwa hapo, even your job sometimes is on the line, especially if you are very high up in those positions. Ni ngumu, and I cannot imagine like what others out here, like kama in-house ni hivyo. Unaona, what you saw the president doing there on the media, that's what we face in-house almost every day, like all the time.
Because you're just a department.
Mtu anakasirika na kazi yako, umemwambia, they want to do something and you're telling them, lazima tufuate procedure, lazima tufuate sheria, nini. Someone just takes issue with it, they start wanaanza kuongea vibaya, they start intimidating you like, watu wa legal. Watu wa legal ndio wanafanya. We are seen as an impediment. Vile tu alikuwa nasema ati koti na hawa mawakili ndio wanazuia maendeleo. That's the same language we face there. Unaambiwa hawa watu wa legal ndio wanazuia. Yani unaona kama kizuizi. Unaona kama kizuizi. So I cannot begin to imagine for practicing advocates out here. The impact it will have on a practicing advocate. Sisi tunapitia direct, like you are being hit direct, ni wewe nyinyi ndio mmefanya hii maneno iendelee, nyinyi ndio mmesimamisha hii maneno. But for practicing advocates, it's like a trickle down effect, where if the president does not respect court orders, does not respect due process, ataki kuacha koti ifanye kazi yake, so it's a trickle down effect where people will lose confidence in the court system, kwa sababu president mwenyewe afuati court order. Sasa watu watakuwa like hata nikikosea mtu anipeleke kotini, hakuna mahali naenda.
Because you have an order against me, a restraining order.
Nikikuja utadu. So then people will start asking themselves, sasa kazi ya wakili ni gani?
That's true.
Because that's what we face directly every day. Like unakuja unaulizwa, by the way, hii legal hata inatusaidia nini kwa hii kampuni? Hii legal hata inatusaidia nini? Kazi yenu ni gani? Like, because we are seen as an enemy of progress. Actually, simply for telling them, okay, you can do this which you want to do, but there's a way. Do it right. Do it correctly. We have laws, we have the constitution, we have process. Lakini watu hawataki, wanaona kama yani wewe
You brought in a very important point, especially on the respect. Mtu anauliza kazi ya wakili ni nani? And we've seen it even in police stations nowadays. Right now, back in the day, when you arrive at the police station, you say, I am so and so, I am an advocate, my client is here. The police will automatically, they know how to handle you, right?
Yeah.
But now, squeezy went over, they'll be like, nyima wakili, nini, mnatusumbua, I've seen it even in where I stay. I went to bail out someone the other day, and the stress I got, you look like you are supposed to be inside of your client. What do you think, Nashipai, about the rule of law in the country?
I think honestly, the rule of law in the state, as she said. And when I think about it, I look at what we are doing as individuals. I mean, of course, as advocates, tunajua this is what is supposed to happen. This is why the rule of law is important. But the rest of the country seems to be operating in an environment where if I can bypass this impediment, as she has said, of the law, this impediment of lawyers, nitakuwa sawa, like my life will go better, not realizing that if we don't have the rule of law, if the executive, the president, the people that are in charge of actually executing these things, if they don't respect the laws, none of us is safe. That's the truth.
Yeah.
When they come for you, when they come for people that are not near you, you say, I'm not a judge. I mean, mimi santa ingia court lini. I don't even want to join the bench. Enihusu, hiyo ni kesi yao. But you see, they will eventually come for you, because if we foster a culture where ni sawa, wafanye tu Kenya wanataka kufanya, the most we will do is sit in our spaces and discuss that, the rule of law has gone to the dogs in this country. The rule of law no longer exists. But I think that one of the ways that we can actually face this, one of the ways we can counter it, is having conversations and actually taking action. I like what the LSK did. I think that's something I really, really admire. That we saw members of the LSK, the current council, wanaongea, wanasema this is how it is. Unajua, tuliona Kalonzo Musyoka amesimama hapo. That's something that is very encouraging. Ukiona that these people are actually taking, especially people that unajua tumeassociate na government. Ukiona they are able to identify, something is wrong. And something is actually wrong. And may think it doesn't matter that you're a lawyer or you're not a lawyer. You're a jalishi. The truth is, they will come for the lawyers, they will finish the lawyers. Yeah, then who will they come for next?
That is true. And lawyers lawyers ndo wanakuwa deemed, it's like the layer of protection for the society.
Yeah, we're the layer of protection, but for sure.
Slowly by slowly, people are saying, now it's licking us. Or as the guy said, inaturamba. Because right now the lawyers are being deemed as the bad people.
Yeah.
Actually, you see, I was having a conversation the other day with some, let me call them commoners. Sorry. People who've not done law.
Layman.
And they're like, why should I fuata hii procedure and I can pay up and, and kila kitu iende. And you see, they don't realize that. They don't realize that hizi steps zenye zimewekwa, they are actually meant to protect
them.
To protect them.
Yes. That's the thing I was telling someone recently, like we're discussing among ourselves. Yani, the hardest part about being a lawyer is having to face opposition for doing your job, and this opposition is coming from the same people you're trying to protect.
Yeah, actually.
Hawaelewi kazi yako, and there's nothing worse than being criticized by someone who does not even understand the nature of your job. Yani hata uelewi role yangu ni gani, lakini wewe ndio number 1 kunipiga vita. Na hii Kenya nafanya yenye unanipiga vita. Ni wewe ndio ninasaidia na itakuramba if you don't let me do what I'm supposed to do.
That's true.
Ni wewe ndio nenda kukuramba. And it's really frustrating sometimes. It's frustrating, and I'm glad we can talk about such things. We have at least tuko na watu, when I meet people like fellow advocates or members of other professions who have faced the same frustration in their individual fields. Kunajua kuna engineer mahali pia yeye akijaribu kufanya kitu, watu hawaheshimu the professionalism in him, wanaanza so sometimes it's good when you come out here and you have these discussions with people and they understand, like, oh, by the way, ni kubaya sana.
That's true. So
it's not just a lawyer thing. Uliona hata ile video ilitokea ya watu walienda kuintimidate nas. Was it a clinical officer?
Exactly. That is an aspect of rule of law. Yeah.
Sasa unaweza enda kwa ofisi ya mtu and just conduct yourself anyhow. Unatukana watu na harass watu wanafanya kazi yao. So it's, you know, like she said, it's at some point it stopped being about lawyers, because you know, I realize generally lawyers are not very popular out here. Sana wakati wa Brian Mwenda. Hata mawakili.
Actually that brought out the society, what the perspective of the society about lawyers.
The public perception. Lakini sahi imeanza kukua wider, like after that incident for the clinical officer, watu this is wrong, like this actually, is wrong no matter what issues you have, because kuna watu walikuwa najaribu kusema nurses pia wanakuanga wanasumbua, they are rude but I'm glad the whole country was united, like hata kama whatever issues you have with members of a certain profession this is wrong, like you can people can draw the line. So it's hata jana kwa hiyo maandamano ulikuwa unaona si mawakili pekee walikuwa pale.
That's true. I saw a mother with a child,
with a baby. I even have a video. I recorded her like and the bamtoto hivi. So people, I'm glad that people are waking up to the reality. Hatuwezi ishi. There's a reason we have a constitution.
True.
You know? So we have to defend the principles of the constitution. We have to defend the independence of the judiciary. That is not in hiyo sio kitu yenye tuna debate, by the way.
That's true. So do you think the LSK has a role to play? I'll start with you, Nash.
Yes, the LSK has a very big role to play. First of all, as a representative body of all the advocates. You know, we can't tuzianza fight this thing individually. We need to move in one direction. And that is through LSK leadership. So I don't want to go into that, but I think that the LSK plays a very, very big role in ensuring that the rule of law happens. How do they play this role? Public interest litigation. That is why, going back to what she said, it's important for us to respect what lawyers are doing, for people to respect processes. Not just lawyers, all professionals. Because if that body doesn't exist, if that body doesn't protect your rights, if it doesn't protect the rule of law in Kenya, we do not have a country.
That's true.
Yeah, so the Law Society of Kenya is very, very important, and I'm very glad again that the Law Society of Kenya ndo tuliwaona. Jana.
True.
The mandamano. I'm very glad that happened.
Yeah. Because the opposition would have organized something like that, but you know how that would end.
Yeah, it would have gone very badly.
Yeah, we know how that would end. So, what role do you think LSK has?
When you have a strong leadership, you know, the kind of leaders we elect, ndio watafanya either a profession. By the way, without rule of law, independence of the judiciary, hatuna profession.
That's true.
Hakuna profession hapo. So the kind of leadership you elect. You know, yesterday I was very impressed. The entire all council members, president alikuwa mstari wa mbele, vice president pia kopale, all the council members are there. Hakuna mtu anajificha kwa you know when you elect someone who is very much aligned to the state. Atawai enda ati
hawezi. Uwezi kata mkono ukulisha.
You can't.
Atatoa statement.
Atapostia WhatsApp. Azungushe WhatsApp, lakini ile kutokea strongly like this is what I stand for. So you need bold leadership to protect us and defend the rule of law. That is it goes to the core of our bread and butter as advocates. Hakuna inchi, hakuna courts, hakuna without rule of law, hakuna profession.
That is true.
So when you see leadership coming out, like the only way she talked about how we have to be united and speak in one voice, the only way to achieve that is to have a council, a leadership that is also united and very bold and tenacious, like watu hawaogopi kusema hivi. So wakiwa hivyo they can unite us, pia wao watuonyeshe njia tunafuata. Mtu anaweza itisha maandamano, mtu anaweza call for action like let's do this, we have to say no to this, hivyo. We need organized leadership, otherwise tutashinda hivyo, vitu zinafanyika, nobody cares. Kila mtu anaendelea na kabrief kake pale, just hoping that things don't get worse. You're just hoping aita sambaratika, but unaishi in fear, hata ujui about tomorrow, the uncertainty, kwa sababu hakuna mtu amekuja no one has come out strongly to unite people to speak against these things and defend what we stand for, what we are trained for.
You bring a very excellent point, because personally I believe that without law, systems don't work.
Yes.
Because laws establish systems and they actually give a remedy. So you can imagine if you're an investor and then you come here and something happens, but you have no faith in the judiciary system. You won't even put any single coin in that economy. And that is what the president doesn't realize. So for me, I think the LSK leadership is very important. It is important for the person who is taking charge or taking the helm of that seat to be someone who is incorruptible, someone who can stand his ground or her ground and tell the president, you know what, this is wrong. Even if you try anything, and I'm saying it's wrong because it's wrong. The law says this, you're trying to do things the other way, and it will work against you. And I think that is what we need at the helm. So now, bringing it closer home, who do you think should be the next president? Let me start with you, Kerubo.
From my analysis of the various candidates, hata hiyo jana kwa maandamano, people were watching.
Yeah, of course.
Kuna most aspirants were there. But you can see ni nani mwenye hii kitu amechukua serious.
That's true.
Wagani, some avoided altogether.
Yeah.
Some avoided altogether, but you can see nani who is at the helm of the things. And I was very impressed with the role the vice president played. She came out very strongly. Alikuwa mstari wa mbele kabisa.
That's true.
So I believe we need a strong leadership. And I believe when we have someone like Faith Odhiambo, we are in good hands. Because other than being a strong someone, she's very principled, very strong, ni mtu ako na msimamo wake, and she's not atishiwi ovyo ovyo.
That is
true. And also other than that, she's also a person who is capable of building a united bar, an all-inclusive, and we've seen her track record. She's been in office for a while. Yeah, she was a Nairobi rep. She started as Nairobi rep, akakuwa vice president. And I believe tukimpatia hiyo uongozi, she's approachable, ni ule mtu, the way the part of the reason why sometimes people get away disrespecting our profession, wakipata tuko divided.
That is true. Divide and rule.
Yes. Lakini sai unakumbuka ile statement ilitokea hata ina letterhead imeandikwa ati sijui practicing lawyers.
Oh yeah, that is true. I remember.
What the hell is practicing lawyers? Like
you wonder where it's from, yeah?
Na uliona vile watu wako this is nonsense.
Yeah, true. Everyone could agree.
So we need someone who is able to unify advocates. So I believe Faith is capable of building an all-inclusive bar, because you need to unite the young lawyers, mid-bar, and the seniors, and she's that kind of a person. She's approachable. Super glue.
Even better.
Yes. So all those qualities in one, for me, they make she has everything that we need to forge the right leadership.
Nashipai, do you agree?
I agree entirely. Like you said, the first line of defense that this country has is lawyers. But the first line of defense that lawyers have is the LSK leadership. And we need a bold leadership. We need a leadership that is able to take a stand. And one thing I like about Faith Odhiambo is that she has embodied that boldness. Alafu pia, you will see that she has not made it about herself.
Oh, yes.
She has not gone and said, it is Faith Odhiambo versus the entire, executive. No, she does it as a leader. She does it as an inclusive leader. Because you saw the numbers that turned out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you saw the mobilization that happened. Yeah. Another thing is her track record, as she has said. Yeah, you can never pluck a leader out of thin air.
Of course.
Leaders are made eventually. And if you can watch the process of her coming out to be this bold, this effective leader, then it builds a lot of faith. Sorry for the pun, but yes.
Pun definitely intended.
I have a lot of faith in Faith. I have a lot of faith in her leadership.
There goes another one.
I love how collaborative she is, because even as she takes bold steps in protecting the rule of law, she's also including everyone. She's also collaborating with those that she needs to collaborate with. And that's exactly what we need as a society.
Me personally, I can say I actually agree, because mimi relationship yangu na Faith ilianza kitambo. She taught me in campus. So when I actually, in the last election when she was vying as a vice president, I didn't actually know that she was vying. I had no clue she was vying until I saw her at Supreme Court, and then I'm like, Mwalimu, what are you doing here? And she's like, I am vying. What do you mean you're vying? It's like, I'm vying for vice president. I'm like, hey, all the best. Hey, nimeona wengine wamekuja lakini all the best. she won. And I sat down and asked myself, there is no way someone whom I expected wouldn't win could win. So I knew there was something that she has contributed, not only to the LSK, but to advocates on an individual capacity.
Yes.
She has proven herself to be very accommodative of everyone's opinion, and she is very understanding. And that is someone that we need. We need someone who is understanding and who is accommodative of everyone's views, but at the same time, someone who can actually, what I'm saying is, we need someone who can organize her house so that the outside world doesn't ridicule you. Unajua mtu anakuambianga, unaongelesha mtu anakuambia, cheki fagia kwako, panga kwako kwanza. Panga kwako kwanza alafu kuja
And it has happened before?
Of course, it has happened before severally. So when someone is able to organize her house, that is someone who commands respect even to other players and stakeholders. So we need such a person, which is why I also believe she's very capable of taking this seat, and she should be the right person. Actually, she is the person who should take this seat.
She's the person, yeah.
Yeah, we have faith in faith, right?
Yes, we have.
Mama Boma.
Mama Boma. And actually, you said an important point. The numbers were immense, and and it wasn't about her. The limelight wasn't on her. That shows someone who is selfless.
Yes.
And she's not doing it for personal gain. There are people who have been in that office and wameingia hivi, the next time we see them ni waki-exit, wakipeana speech ya kutoka. And that is,
Yeah.
And I like the one thing I like about her, and that one you can never take it away from her, is the issue of corporate governance.
Yes.
Vile ame solidify and, ame cement kwa LSK.
Yes.
There is no way the society will fall when you have good corporate governance. In fact, the president should take note.
Yes.
Oh yeah, our leadership is very nice.
The attachment.
Oh yeah. Anyway. I think I'll allow Nashipai to give her parting shot as we come to a close.
My parting shot is this. The rule of law is something we cannot afford to take for granted.
Oh yeah.
The role of advocates, the role that advocates play, is not something we can take for granted. And the role of the LSK leaders is something that we have to take very, very seriously. Yes.
Oh, that's a parting shot. Fantastic. Kerubo, wasemaje?
I believe for us to have a stable and progressive bar, for us to have an all-inclusive LSK, a bold bar, we need faith. I have faith in Faith. I believe she's the right person to take LSK to the next level.
I cannot say anything. I cannot add anything. And as Zangalala J, sorry for being very legalistic, I have read the submissions of my colleagues and I have nothing useful to add. Thank you guys and have a wonderful time.
Asante.
Thank you.